here in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio State and Western Kentucky in a totally different challenge for the Buckeyes, who played a couple of slogs so far in the non-conference. They've allowed only 10 points. That's unlikely today, considering the opponent. Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, Allison Williams downstairs. Look, this Western Kentucky team will sling it around the yard. Ryan Day knows that if he could schedule a type of opponent, this is a good one for him.
Yeah, kind of like a stress test, right? You get to see whom you are in non-conference before, obviously, the huge test next week and conference play right around the corner. These Hilltoppers, unconventional. They are wide open. Ryan Day has been complaining about some of the new clock rules. I don't get enough snaps. I don't get enough possessions for a lot of my stars. I don't think he's going to have a problem with Western Kentucky today. Offensively, defensively, they are unconventional, and Ryan knows it's more about them in establishing who they are, and really these two stars. This is the best receiver duo in America, and there's not an argument. They play off each other so well, and as much as Western Kentucky is going to blitz and try to get after Kyle McCord, these two should have some open field to work in.
Now, Western Kentucky's going to blitz because they want to hand the ball off to the quarterback. Everybody in the program, literally everybody we talked to, called fiery Austin Reed.
This is a program built around that position. Bailey Zappi showed it a couple years ago. Austin Reed did it last year, leading this country in passing yards, and he just slings it with no fear. I mean, I'm watching tape going, you can't throw that. I mean, you can't throw that. But he does, and the team feeds off of that nature. And this Buckeye secondary, not been tested a lot these first 2 weeks. They will be today.
We'll take it a break with our Progressive Insurance Game Countdown as the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers are set to take on the 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, and kickoff is coming up next. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. It's easy to Geico. Ohio State won the toss, will get the ball first under the guidance of quarterback Kyle McCord. Allison Williams.
Yeah, and Jason, Kyle McCord officially named the starting quarterback for the Buckeyes this week. But McCord told me it's been nice just mentally to have that confirmation. But, of course, there's not a whole lot that changes for him. He said my focus can shift, though, from trying to prove I'm the guy to proving that the coaches made the right decision. And he said, I know my job out there. There's so many dynamic playmakers around me. I don't need to try and do too much. I just need to keep this offense moving. Ryan Day felt like in the first few games this season, they've done a nice job of getting their quarterback in a rhythm early. They look to establish that here again today.
Yeah, they showed Devin Brown a little bit the first 2 games, but this is Kyle McCord's team now. And his opponent, Western Kentucky, will play in a stadium that is 27,000 people larger than its own town.
So the whole town of Bowling Green, Kentucky could drive down here and not fill it up.
That's correct. If they could get the tickets, which I'm guessing is a no. Xavier Johnson back to receive for the Buckeyes. Could have a lot of points today here at the Horseshoe. We are off and running. Western Kentucky and Ohio State. And Xavier Johnson on the return from the goal line. And the Buckeyes will have it right around the 25-yard line. So Kyle McCord now has the team, as Allison reported. What are you watching today from this quarterback?
I think a couple things. Number one is poise. It's something Ryan Day, a former quarterback himself, always looks for. And as you've read some of his quotes sitting with him yesterday, it's really what separated him from a Devin Brown, who I still at some point expect to see play today. But poise and then fundamentals. The tape doesn't lie. That eye in the sky with his footwork, that is where he needs to continue to refine and get better, especially in the intermediate and deep shots he'll take today.
It's an opening throw. It's to Marvin Harrison Jr. up top, and he's got 15 plus. It's a gain of 16, first down Buckeyes. And this Ohio State offense will go tempo at points. It's an offensive line that lost 3 starters from last year. They want to be more violent today. We told you about the wide receivers. TreyVeon Henderson has a couple of touchdowns this year as well, and he's close to 2,000 on the ground for his Buckeye career, and he's closer now, driven down at the 46. this. This Western Kentucky defense has its hands full. What will it look like today?
The most unorthodox tape I'll watch all season. 2 defensive linemen blitzing from everywhere and anywhere. If Ohio State is sound on their side, this crew is all over the place. Upton Stout, the corner, their best player defensively. You saw Evans, the linebacker. They call him Donut. He will move all over the field at 250 pounds. But they are about speed and trying to be unconventional for that Ohio State offense.
After the gain of 5, it's McCord to flip it out wide. He's got Egbuka. Egbuka into space. And another gas for the Buckeyes inside the 35. Tate Allen the tackle, 21 yards downfield.
Yeah, these two are different, and no surprise to see, you're going to see Emeka come in motion. No surprise to see these two right away. Harrison and Emeka. And the physical size, that is what jumps out to me with Egbuka. He has added a lot of strength.
One of the best long receivers from last year, 15th in the nation, 20-plus catches. He's got one already, and there's a run for Henderson.
That was Tate Allen, the safety there in a one-on-one in the alley, which is going to happen a lot. Saw Tony Alford on the field, the running back coach, before the game. Said, where's TreyVeon at full speed? 100%, never better. Would love to see him get 15-plus carries today. Didn't need many last week to get 2 touchdowns.
That was in a win against Youngstown State last week. McCord off play action, rolling to his right. He throws it for Stover, the tight end, who actually lost a yard, and now a big 3rd down coming. And our easy mode game plan sponsored by Geico. It's easy to Geico.
Yeah, I could also add hold Buckeyes to field goals for Western Kentucky, but their defense is all about takeaways and sacks. They don't care about all of the yards they're going to give up 20 to 20. And for Ohio State, impose your will in every phase. Offensively, defensively, special teams, make Western Kentucky feel ya.
They'll throw this side and incomplete. Off the mark for Fleming and just a miss.
Oof. Now this is yeah, and they're going to not even hesitate. They're going to go for it. We're going to talk about 3rd downs today because everybody in this town has been talking about the struggle on 3rd down. And that is a gimme. Ryan Day's looking at his board just saying, hey, come on now, Kyle. I just gave you that 3rd down conversion. That's one you got to hit 99 of 100 times. They don't. And they're not going to settle for no field goal. Not at home. Not right now.
They have Marvin Harrison Jr. at the bottom of the screen, isolated on an island. Now the motion his direction. McCord with a double clutch, and he finds Egbuka. 1st down, Buckeyes.
This is the advantage of a little more size and strength. You just can't cover Egbuka. Once again, coming to motion number 2. And even though it's pretty tight coverage, you can see Allen, the safety's there. He's using that frame and that size. McCord gives him an opportunity to convert that time.
So they don't convert on 3rd down. They do on 4th down. Opening drive for Ohio State in its 3rd game of the year. Henderson to the outside. He's got the fringe and a touchdown, Ohio State.
This was the great fear for Western Kentucky. That stretch run game out on the perimeter. Joshua Simmons gets just enough. And this is the one area they're going to throw bodies all around the middle of the field to try to stop inside run. But that was the fear on the perimeter. And TreyVeon, after that foot surgery in December, he does look all the way back.
Early returns on the offensive line. Thumbs up.
Very much so. Impose your will.
Buckeyes get in on the ground after converting on 4th down in Hilltopper territory. 7-0 early. Line, and they, as you said, impose their will. 8 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown on the ground.
Julian Fleming's going to get a gold star from Brian Hartline. Yeah, he's coordinator now, and TreyVeon's going to watch the tape tomorrow and go, Julian, bro. Way to blow that thing up. Not only getting your guy, but another. These receivers here don't just catch it, Jason. They block for one another, too.
Well, it's a pro receiving room for Brian Hartline, and you'll see it in terms of all of the skills as Western Kentucky will get it for the first time this high-octane offense. Elijah Young back to receive the kick, and he'll come from the 2 and run into Scarlet and Gray with a marker coming in as well.
Two-point takedown right here. Western Kentucky, back them up.
Jeff Cervinski, our referee in this Big Ten crew.
During the return, holding return team number 92. Half the distance of the goal line. Western Kentucky football. First down and 10.
If the Hilltoppers are going to pull off the upset, it's because of this young man from St. Augustine Beach, Florida, Austin Reed, who won a D2 national title in Pensacola with the West Florida Argos a couple of years ago. Last season, he followed Bailey Zappi with quite the encore, the most pass yards in the FBS, and he is an intense customer. He told us he lost friends in high school because of gym class basketball because he talked so much smack.
I know people like that. They're sometimes hard to be around, but man, do you love them leading your team, especially in an environment like this.
First play, it's a run. Davion Irvin Poindexter, who's been here with Indiana a couple of years ago with Michael Penix as his quarterback. Here's the offensive line, which will be certainly pressed today by Ohio State's defensive line. And then the skill players are all dangerous, all talented. Malachi Corley, you saw him on the field. He's an interesting cat.
Impressive.
Austin Reed's first throw is on target to the far side. Craig Burke Jr., the Columbus native, in his first game in the Horseshoe. Buckeyes defense, and these defensive ends need to pile up some numbers, don't you think?
Yeah, this is a game for JT to get home. You're going to see a lot of open edges. Eichenberg, the man in the middle, the most violent player on that defense, according to Jim Knowles. Denzel Burke, the best cover guy.
This is Corley, and it's incomplete. Short hopper. This team has run now 22 screens already this year. That's top 10 in the FBS.
To anybody, anytime, anywhere. A lot of times coordinators will kind of set up a screen or feel if a team's rushing you. Not Western Kentucky. They will spray that ball with Austin all over the field, really, to anybody, facilitating it like a point guard.
We got the first touch to his local product. That was a little off target, but Corley rescued it. And it's about a yard and a half. The head coach at Western Kentucky is Tyson Helton, Clay Helton's brother, in his 5th season. He's 34 and 21, and he's gone to 4 bowl games.
He's done an awesome job. They play at a tempo. I don't know how much we get to talk about all the innovations that he's brought in. A new OC this year to marry his concepts with a lot more air raid. But he firmly knows what he wants to do, how he wants to go about it, and they will chuck it.
See what Jim Knowles does here. He rushes 4. Reed rolling and throwing across his body. He's got a first down to Blue Smith. The former Buckeye for 1 year has his first catch.
Well, I think you're getting a sense right away. Unlike Youngstown State and unlike Indiana in week 1, this team is going to spread it, and they will test the 2nd and 3rd levels.
There's another screen. This one goes to the far side, and Corley, and Malachi Corley has a first down. It's about 65-35 run pass, but the passes sometimes look like runs.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with your numbers because I know you're a numbers guy, but it's really hard on those screens because they are also, as you've seen, a heavy run pass option team. So what is called a run play, at any time Austin can just shoot it out there, and it kind of looks like a screen as well. Whatever it is, the ball is coming out in a hurry.
He called it a new age option to us in our conversation a couple of days ago. He feels some pressure, gets it away for Irvin Poindexter, and his cut inside is thwarted by Eichenberg. It's 2nd down. So this is the play selection, but sometimes it looks a little bit more like 70-30 because sometimes those passes turn into runs.
And sometimes you play a game in an opponent like today where it might be 80-20.
You think so?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think Austin's going to scramble around a little bit as well, but their advantage is on the perimeter.
Marquise Stepp, the USC transfer.
Not there.
Did you say perimeter? Because that was not.
This is a gap power run scheme, right? They like to block down. In order to do that, you typically got to be bigger and stronger than whom you're facing. In Conference USA, there's a good look at Drew Hollingshed signaling it in. He and Tyson call the plays together. They move people in Conference USA. Going to be hard for Drew and company to move the line of scrimmage today, thus spitting out all that perimeter pass.
That's Corley in motion on 3rd and 2. Plenty of time. Reed gets it out down the sideline. Little jostling and incomplete. He wanted Corley, and the coverage for Josh Proctor back and healthy for the Buckeyes.
They get exactly what they want. They do the double count. They know it's man-to-man coverage. Look at the face masks right at the receivers, and this is what they want. They want their best receiver on a safety. The problem is Josh Proctor is a talented guy, and you can see the hit there. Tuimoloau getting home on Austin Reed.
They're going for it.
I think you have to do that. And I wouldn't mind another hard count here, another one of those double cadences to make sure you're seeing the picture you're going to get at the snap.
Gotta have 2 yards. Reed loads up, fires, incomplete. Ohio State takes over.
Third down, man-to-man. Going to challenge you. 4th down, we're going to be sound in our zone, and we're going to give this gunslinger no window to throw in. Buckeyes with the ball in midfield when we come back.
I hate you too. The Jersey Mike's catering
by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. These programs intertwined because they both won national titles in 2002 at different levels at the time. Greg Krenzel was the quarterback for Ohio State that year. You know how many passing touchdowns he had? Just 21 years ago. You know how much the game's changed?
A lot. I'm going to say 20.
12.
Okay. Losing Price is right.
To win a national championship. We might see a touchdown in the next couple plays for the Buckeyes. See if they take a shot here. It's out wide, and Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., who is very much like a sports car in the way he runs, sets up 2nd and short.
It's a little eerie for me playing with his pops for a couple years, or at least watching his pops from the bench with Indianapolis. He is 6'4", but they move exactly the same.
How so?
Just from the hips down. You know, Marvin Jr. is a long torso. He's 6'4", but I bet you if those two stood side by side, from the hips down, they'd be very similar in their movement and their speed is the same.
Isn't that awesome? The way genealogy happens in football and all sports.
Well, and then you have Hall of Fame pedigree, and you coach your son, and you work your son. I saw a scout on the sideline before the game, and he's like, man, these Buckeye receivers are pros. They are just, there's no silly, there's no playing around. They are motionless, they're fierce. And getting those two going with your young quarterback, it's going to be a big part of the conversation heading to South Bend next week over the course of these final 50-some minutes. And en route in Big Ten play, too.
3rd and 1, they'll call it. So no first down on that carry. And the timer down to 9. Just a timeout waiting to happen. And now it happened.
Timeout. Ohio State.
3rd and 1 for the Buckeyes, up 7 when we come back. On Ryan Day and Tyson Helton.
Doing it a little differently this season. Tyson still wide open, spread up tempo. Ryan, you've seen it the first couple weeks. A little bit more balance. Willing to huddle up, willing to slow it down. And he said, yeah, that's a reaction to big games. Playing the Bamas and the Clemsons and the Michigans and knowing that you can't just go tempo all the time. But Mr. Helton, he's not slowing down. He's going to step on the gas.
Ryan Day also talked about how you have to look different nowadays, whether it's with motion or formations, whatever it might be. This is 3rd and 1. Henderson, the tailback, and he does rummage for a first down for Ohio State. You talked about this with Ryan Day. He would like to have the clock rules back, thank you very much, because he'd like to run more plays. It's only 4, but that's not really an only.
Well, and for his guys, he's got a lot of mouths to feed. He's got a lot of stars to get the ball to, and it's about a possession. More importantly, right now, you go back 3 or 4 years, and they were up over 70 plays a game. So it is significant, but you want to get your superstars as many touches as you can.
Play action, McCord wants to let it rip. Instead, he goes down. The ball is out. Wheeler got the hit, and McCray is on top of it. So they want stops, they want turnovers. There they go.
Well, that's their game. They led college football in takeaways. You're going to see McCord with the deep drop. Western Kentucky not even lined up, and he wants to eyes down the field, take a shot at his old high school buddy, but the post is covered, and then it's all effort. That is Wheeler getting home there, and as a QB, you've got to feel that, right? You know you want to take that shot, but that clock in your head is, okay, I've got to get it out, and at all costs, I've got to protect the football because this team on the other side, that's the best thing they do is take it away.
Well, that junior defensive tackle, Hosea Wheeler, actually held McCord up, whether intentionally or not, to make sure that his knee didn't go down. There's the turnover and a short field for the Hilltoppers. Corley in motion. Looked like he wanted to flip it the other way, and that got derailed immediately, so no gain, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, that was JT right there, right in the backfield. He got the hit earlier to Imoloau on Austin Reed, and that time he's 5 yards deep. That's a smart play by Corley because that is on the grade sheet a no-chancer against an athlete like 44.
Second down, short set, and that's whistled high and wide, incomplete. Third down as we check in with Allison.
Well, guys, Ohio State's defensive line coach Larry Johnson, one of the best in the game, right? And he was telling his guys they got to be quicker coming off the snap. He said your first 2 steps have to be all about speed. You can close in on him because he's holding the ball a little bit. You will get there. If you have a faster first 2 steps, you got to go out there and attack.
And feed off of these 100,000 that help you there, Allison, with it. It is the mentality in San Francisco with Mr. Bosa. Stop the run on the way to the passer, but at all costs, go hit number 16.
3rd and 10 off the turnover. Reed down the middle. Got it for Corley. It's a first down. It's inside the 40-yard line. Gain of 17.
And I think for the first time you see some extra Buckeyes here from Jim Knowles. He's going to come with some pressure, and it puts Jordan Hancock in a little bit of a bind here. He's expecting some help from Josh Proctor. Those two, the corner and the safety, Proctor, they're not on the same page, and because of it, the experience between Reed and Corley converts a critical 3rd down.
Corley led the nation last year in yards after catch. As he splits out of the backfield this time, Reed rolls that direction, throws it back, and has a connection to River Helms. His tight end who broke a tackle and gets inside the 30.
Not just a tackle. That is a DN dropping. And look at Reed here. We told you he is just a gamer, man. Got a fun factor off the charts. But look at River Helms here. Look who he runs through. Tuimoloau is out there like, I'm not normally in space. I'm pinning my ears back. And he just got his bell rung.
Timeout, Western Kentucky. Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for the Buckeyes, said Austin Reed throws the ball with impunity. And he has. All over the yard, and his tight end is playing with impunity as well. Western Kentucky's driving when we come back. Security for more than 150 years. Turnover for the Hilltopper defense led to River Helms off the feed from Reed, who was going down to the ground, running into a sizable dude and converting.
I think there's going to be some conversation to the all-conference player there, JT, about tackling in space. Maybe wrap eyes up a little bit. It's not what he does. He gets to the passer. And I think you're going to see a little more of the 4-man pressure, just that group up front trusting them because they've gotten beaten. Blitzed.
First down throw incomplete. He wanted Blue Smith. Second down. Downstairs, Allison.
Well, guys, from Malachi Corley of Western Kentucky, this game has been circled on his calendar for over a year. He said it was his motivation throughout the offseason. Remember, he didn't play last week after suffering a rib injury in week 1. He said, I was absolutely determined to be out here because I know the opportunity this game presents. It's my best chance to prove I can play against the best competition in the game. The scouts are going to be here watching me. There's going to be millions watching at home. He was so determined to play in this game, and he didn't shy away from how much he wanted to go out there and perform.
That is awesome, Allison. And his quarterback said as much to us as well, so he knows feeding Corley is big today. That's a small window to Easton Messer, and he snuck it on through. Third down.
It's just interesting, isn't it, watching these two QBs, watching one that's 23 and a half, so much experience under his belt, and just plays free. I mean, there's no expectation. He's just cutting it loose, and you feel McCord on the other side. As once again, Hollingshed, the signaler right there. Such good continuity between he and Reed. But McCord on the other side, a little bit tight, a little bit tense. And that takeaway critical here, especially if Western Kentucky can convert on 3rd and 4.
It's a run, it's step, and he's hit right at the line. That's Kenyatta Jackson Jr., who burst through, and now 4th down and a couple coming up, and you wouldn't figure they're kicking the field goal, would you?
I don't think so. But I know this as well. You better block the end. Just unblocked here. You'll see the left tackle. He blocks down and really gets to nobody. I'd sure love to see him at least get a body on that edge threat. But pushing these guys between the tackles is not how Tyson Helton's going to get the job done today.
Every play they've run this year has been out of shotgun, so 4th and 2 is that as well for Reed.
Man-to-man.
Reed wants it himself, right up the zipper, and a 1st down.
Ooh, and this is a good one. Look at Steele Chambers. Look at your middle linebacker. He's got his eyes on the running back right here. We got a penalty after the play, but he's looking to the handoff. He's thinking that's going to be a run to the running back. Instead, the veteran quarterback keeps it himself, but a penalty, critical penalty, after the 1st down.
It was Blue Smith, the former Buckeye, and Josh Proctor.
1st down after the play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 5. That is his first of the ball game. 15-yard penalty, still 1st down, Western Kentucky.
Blue Smith said, this is personal to me. This game is personal. He came back here to Columbus. Here it is.
Let go.
Denzel Burke down there first, then Proctor came in and was talking to him as well. It's hard.
Oh, it is.
Right, I mean, there's a lot of humanity in this.
You were here, you redshirted, you went to Cincinnati for 4. You have been waiting for this moment. But you've got to control your emotions right there.
So they get the result of the play, then move back 15 yards. So it's 1st and 10 outside the 30 for Reed. Pocket holds up for long enough, and he's out wide and incomplete. 2nd down coming up. He was looking for Corley again.
Musa Berry, just know where you are on the field, young man. I know it's big surroundings. I know transfer from Mars Hill University had not been in a situation like this. But you've got to know, nobody forced him out. So he stepped out on his own. They lost him defensively. This was going to be a conversion. Just a couple unforced, almost mental errors.
Illegal touching offense. The wide receiver was out of bounds and did not reestablish himself back in bounds and was first to touch the football. Lost it down at the previous spot. 4th down.
Yeah, the loss of down's a killer here.
What a great call as well. They get zone, and look at the Ohio State defenders. They just lose track. They lose sight. And he steps out of bounds there. Yeah, and the guy that's hyper-competitive, that lost friends over his competitives, not going to be real happy with both Blue Smith and Musa Berry making a couple plays he can't afford to make in this venue.
And a good call there by John Wierzinski, the head linesman, as Lucas Carnero will kick. You better believe Reed's going to present that to his receivers on the sideline. This is from 43. Carnero perfect on the year. Different setting. Same result. It is good. So off the turnover, They get a field goal. Yes, they want to hold Ohio State to field goals. If they're going to do that, they need one of these at least.
They do. Good snap, perfect hold. That kick, that'd have been good in the old Arena League. Move those uprights way in. It's not what Tyson Helton wanted, especially because there were almost unforced errors there by his guys. But what a great shot of his brother and his dad right there.
Yeah, his dad on staff with him now in Western Kentucky. He's a head coach at Houston from back in the day from 93 to 99. And by the way, not pictured the twin sons of Tyson Helton, who are defensive ends and offensive tackles on the same lines, playing for the same team. They both evidently want to be quarterbacks, but they've grown, and there are more Heltons coming.
You know what's cool about that is that Pops was an O-line guy. So sons are QBs, love to throw it all over the yard. 14-year-old twins right now are the Twin Towers playing offensive tackle. I'm sure Grandpa loves it. But there's something, too, learning this game from the line of scrimmage out.
Cole and Clay, I'm certain, watching this ball game here in Columbus. Johnson on the return for Ohio State, and he is bottled up, keeps his feet, and met by the rest of Bowling Green, Kentucky. The new era for the Packers continues tomorrow on Fox. Big win against the Bears. Now Jordan Love and the Packers take on the Falcons, or Christian McCaffrey and the Niners take on Matthew Stafford and the Rams. That's in the late window or other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area. It's all right here on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Yeah, this first quarter, a little NFL-esque. It's moved. Western Kentucky got those conversions. This clock has been in their favor with that takeaway. Remember, the Buckeyes took the ball, went down and scored, but if you're going to kind of start to draw this thing up, this is the kind of score you don't mind at all to put a little pressure on Kyle McCord.
Hanging around. Ohio State's only run 12 plays so far in quarter number 1. That was Henderson in motion. They'll run it with Chip Trainum, the Arizona State transfer, and get a medium gain on first down.
And every one of those inside runs, it takes 20 or 30 seconds. Western Kentucky says, please, just go right ahead. I know you want to impose your will. You want to get that group going. But the less plays to their playmakers on the perimeter, the more runs that just keep that clock going. The later this game goes, the pressure, we know who it's on today.
Well, also, Ohio State's playing Notre Dame next week. They have to find out about their run game and their offensive line. Low snap here. This out wide, Julian Fleming. First down, and he is upended by Anthony Johnson Jr., who took him for a big old ride and maybe a gymnastics medal.
He's the one that doesn't get as much of the conversation, but he does so much of the dirty work. Great blocker, so sound fundamentally. Nice job there running through contact.
Ryan Day's trying to sneak in one more play. It is Henderson looking for the second alley, and it's Baker on the stop. So, at the end of one, we expected points. We have some. 7-3. The Buckeyes trying to hold off the Hilltoppers, who've never beaten a Big Ten team.
Continue doing?
Well, I tell you what, it's all about takeaways. It gives our offense a chance. You know, we weathered the storm early. We just now got to continue to settle in offensively. You know, we got to get touchdowns. You know, we kicked the field goal there just because we had the penalty and all those kind of things. But we got to start scoring touchdowns.
Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Allison, thank you. And Tyson Helton told us he wants to hold them to field goals, so he certainly doesn't want them himself, but the penalties forced his hand there. Second down out of a quarter break, and it's Henderson leaning forward to set up a 3rd and 2 for Ohio State.
Yeah, these third downs, every fan in this building is going to keep an eye on them, because they know over the course of a season, this is the money down. You've got to get the job done. Good look at Tyson Summers, D coordinator there for Western Kentucky.
Ohio State 30% on 3rd down coming in. Henderson nearly gave it back, but he's got the sideline and then some. Inside the 35-yard line. First down for Ohio State. It's a gain of 23.
And that's a broken tackle. I mean, if you're a Hilltopper, you've got TreyVeon here stopped. If you can make the tackle, you defeat the block of Egbuka, right?
Sideline warning. Ohio
there,
State,
and you just
it's their first football game. There's no yardage penalty. First down and 10.
That's Rome Weber, the safety there, and that's hard. I mean, that's the open field against TreyVeon Henderson. Not a lot of guys one-on-one make that tackle. But give Henderson credit. The stretch touchdown run, that time on the little swing pass. Explosive plays come in a variety of ways.
Well, TreyVeon Henderson in the open field, we saw it last week against Youngstown State where he flat out hurdled a Penguin, a Youngstown State player. First down, and this is a run. It is Harrison. It is open space. Marvin Harrison Jr. inside the 5. There is another marker in on the far side back at the 23. We'll see if it stands.
Man, he glides, doesn't he? Holy
You were
cow.
watching the strides. You were thinking of Dad, weren't you?
Holding. Offense, number 2. 10-yard penalty from the spot on the foul. First down.
And that's key. It's a spot foul on Egbuka.
Yeah, and it's a pancake. I mean, he's disappointed because he drives his defender to the ground. You're going to see him. He's going to lead the way on the jet sweep. The watch, you love the finish, but once that official sees the jersey right there, that's going to be an automatic. I told you these Buckeye receivers block, man, and they have for years and years. But once the shoulder pad goes up like that, that's an identifier for that back judge, the right call.
And so it's 1st and 13 for Ohio State. Trainum is the tailback. They've had about 8 yards of play on first down so far today. It's Trainum, and he's got 3, 2nd and 10. You know, it was interesting talking to Ryan Day about the third down struggles you were mentioning, this being 2nd and 10. But if a third down comes up, he said, look, part of it is we're a younger team. And third down is about all 11 working together. Yep. That hasn't happened well enough so far this year.
Yeah, you've not been particularly dominant. I mean, you've lost 3 NFL offensive linemen. I think a couple of them are starting games at that next level. And a QB that is just making his 4th start. There's going to be some growing pains in that continuity.
Here they have Harrison alone for the moment. Now Egbuka in motion to that side as well. And McCord on the throw for Harrison, and no chance to make a play. That is Upton Stout on the coverage.
And that is tremendous coverage. They wanted to put little Upton Stout, all 5'9" and 185 of him in the slot. You're going to see him down the field covering as well. And there is nowhere to go. I challenged Tyson Summers. I said, are you going to move Stout? Are you going to try to match him? Oh, you better believe it. I mean, before I could even get it out, we're going to put him on 1A. We don't care that he's given up 6 inches. That dude is our best player defensively. And
he's a ball hawk, too. He's got 5 career picks over there, no matter the size. Third down, McCord steps up, drops it down. It's Harrison again in wide open grass. And a first down for Ohio State.
Beautiful. He missed this against Indiana in the opener. He missed this same kind of check down. It's just going to come across the field. Going to work through all of that traffic, a zone drop there. But that is the exact throw that McCord had into the flat in the opener. And he just didn't get his feet set. He missed it. This time he hits it. And a significant 3rd and 10 conversion.
Unanimous All-American last year. Only 2 catches week 1 for Marvin Harrison Jr. And now McCord changing the play late in the play clock. Trainum inside. And he's got the 10.
Thought I heard Sally. You know what Sally means, right?
Please tell us.
Stretch. Right, you're going to just come up with different S words every single week, and oftentimes you have a name, you identify it. That's the exact thing we did in Indianapolis.
I was going to say, you got to feel even more Colts here with all the stretch play. That was big in Indy when you were there,
yeah,
right?
That's what Ryan loves to do with his personnel, because off of that stretch, man, comes devastating play-action pass.
It's a toss. It's Henderson to the outside. There's another hurdle. Look, Brian Hartline is the hurdler by trade over on the sideline, but Henderson's starting to make it a habit.
Yeah, I think most of those world-class hurdlers, and even Hartline, an all-state guy, not built 5'10", 215. You see them in the Olympics, and they're super strong, but to have that kind of flexibility, man, with that muscle mass and size, you're just different. That's why he was the #1 running back and a 5-star a couple years ago out of Virginia.
Southeast of Richmond down there in Hopewell, Virginia.
3rd and 3. And look at the identifier. Looks like press man-to-man coverage.
Henderson, near side. Henderson breaks down the door. Touchdown.
Great call. What a great call. It was man-to-man. That short little motion took a linebacker out of it as he follows Cade Stover right here. You'll see the linebacker get out, and then you'll see Josh Fryer shove a defender in, use the right arm to shove another out, and that's all it takes for TreyVeon Henderson.
He is now 25 yards from 2,000 for his career.
Did you see Julian Fleming working once again, driving that corner into the end zone?
Twice he's helped on a score. Ohio State in a pair of times, 14-3. Tate back to the touchdown and the blocking from Julian Fleming.
Yeah, it's easy to celebrate all the dynamic plays in the passing game with these receivers, but this is the secret sauce, man. This is what the pro scouts love from all of these guys that Brian Hartline has turned into pro after pro after pro. Look at the effort. I mean, Julian Fleming on the first touchdown run on the stretch at a double knockout. 2 defenders that time, drives the DB right into the end zone. Josh Fryer liked it as well, man, but it's the total package when you look at the Buckeyes receivers and why so many of them become dominant pros.
We asked Brian Hartline, best receiver room he's ever been in, and he said it might actually be these guys. 2021 in the spring, yes. Also his guys with the Dolphins, Jarvis Landry, etc., Brandon Marshall. But man, talking to Brian Hartline and some of the specifics that he demands from his players about steps in a route and about the way he uses his hurdling background to teach these guys, it's impressive.
Precision and detail in the route running. I loved when he just looked at us at the table yesterday and said, we are in power. We are in control. That defense, no matter who they are, react to us. And that just dog mentality, man. It's what he's recruited. It's what he's developed. Now he's elevated to OC, and it's not changed any of those dynamics.
Specifically, he said, we move the defensive backs. They move based on arm movement. As this is a run for Irvin Poindexter, and he wanted to break it. Instead, he gets 2. That's Sawyer on the stop.
Yeah, that was going to get a lot more than 2. Gives some credit there to Jack Sawyer. These ends may not have a sack yet, but they've got pressures, they've got hits. And Sawyer did just enough there to limit that run.
He had 4.5 last year. Still looking for that first sack, as you mentioned this year. Here they come again. Reed gets it away to the sideline of the coverage for Hancock, and a marker does come in against him. That's the freshman K.D. Hutchinson, the intended target.
I believe Jordan Hancock just a little handsy.
Pass interference, defense number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, includes an automatic first down.
Yeah, it's been Igbinosun and Burke starting, but it is Hancock that's mixing in there. A little bit of nickel as well. And K.D. Hutchinson's a little guy, man. He is not, listen at 5'8", he's not quite there, but just that grab. You've seen it on Emeka the other side. These are the indicators these officials look for. And this QB, all he looks for is a one-on-one, and he's going to give his guys opportunities. There's no receiver that ever comes back to a huddle and says, Austin, give me a chance.
Giving ground here, he whips it out near side. Corley dropped it in beautifully. Malachi Corley inside the 25. That was a bullseye from Reed.
Sure was, and here they're going to fake a little screen right in front. So much of what they do with all that screen action and their play action doesn't really come off runs. It comes off fake screens with the vertical down the field.
There is stress on the defense. Near side, incomplete for Burt, who is a Columbus native. He moved to Knoxville, came back for high school. He said the first time he ever was in this building was for a Taylor Swift concert. As a kid, he never was here watching Buckeye games, but it's a cool moment for him. He said, look, I never expected to be here when this was on the schedule. Ended up with an extra year. He's playing with so many tickets that he got off the pass list from his teammates here today. He had the opening catch. Reed fed him early, as Western Kentucky is out passing the Buckeyes so far. Irvin Poindexter has an alley, lost the football. It's down on the deck, still on the deck, and Wes Dorsey of Western Kentucky looked like he fell on top of it, the right tackle.
And how on the field is a fumble recovered by Western Kentucky. First down and goal.
How Denzel Burke does not fall on this ball. 103,000. We're ready to get pretty darn excited as Ransom's on the tackle, and watch Burke come in right here. And it just goes through his arms. And Johnny on the spot. A lot of credit, a lot of effort there to Wes Dorsey, the South Carolina transfer, to follow that ball, never give up on it. And now a first and goal.
6'7", 315, lumbering downfield to come up with the ball. Reed on the roll, and he lives for second down.
Smart.
Look, Austin Reed, literally everybody we talked to, it was like we were discussing Mount Vesuvius. How often we heard the word firing about this young man, but he is an intense competitor. Practice on the field.
And he's strong, man, and his arm is loose, and these stats don't lie. Touchdown passes to go with those passing yards. Elevating everybody around you. That's job number one of the quarterback, and he does it.
They'll motion Corley attached to the formation now. It's a run for Reed, seeking the end zone. Oh, he wanted to bowl right into that scarlet and gray defense. C.J. Hicks got in there, third and goal.
And Josh Proctor, the one-on-one as well. Linebackers, safeties, pretty good job at the point of attack with that power run. And there is helmet to helmet, right shoulder. Do I need to protect it? No, I don't. I'm smelling goal line and going after it.
Third and goal. Timeout. One left for Western Kentucky. Hilltoppers are driving and hanging around.
On Season 6 of Fansville by Dr. Pepper, things are
Fans deserve. Only Western Kentucky win over a Power 5 school was 4 years ago against Arkansas, 45-19. Ty Story, who transferred from Arkansas, ended up getting the win. And there's Big Red dancing its heart out over on the sideline. A mascot that Gene Cady actually was involved in the commissioning of back in the late 70s. A famed mascot.
Yeah.
Amorphous and famed. His team, its team, has a third down coming up.
This got to be 4-down territory, right? I mean, you're not settling for another field goal. You can't say, well, if we don't get it, make them go. No. You've got it. 2 shots out of here.
That's a bunch of 4 down at the bottom. Reed wants the ball. He throws. He's got Corley, and it is a touchdown. That was as many Hilltoppers as you can fit in one place down at the bottom of the formation.
Kind of looked like the mascot out there. If they were in red jerseys, kind of shaped like it. And I'll say this, Jimmy Holiday may have got away with a little bit of a hold. We've seen a couple holds called with jerseys tugged. He was in a one-on-one with Igbenogson in the corner. But, man, that ball spit out in a hurry. Tremendous play call. And you could feel some of the juice of Austin Reed acting like he told us, this won't be too big for me, man. I'm going to go play.
No, his eyes, that stare looks like it could break glass right now. He just went ball cap on the sideline. After Western Kentucky marches down the field, it is 14-10.
I love getting the ball to your best player offensively. They call him Debo-like. Plays a little bit like Debo Samuel, but that's the little bit of the hold I'm talking about on the perimeter with Jimmy Holiday. Right? We have seen it called a couple times when those hands get outside the frame. The jersey gets pulled a little bit. That's a judgment call in the heart of the moment right there, heat of the moment. It's not called, and Corley's going to run through a tackle. The best in the country a year ago, and not even close, by the way. 970 yards after contact.
Ohio State, number 11, is now wearing 16. Number 11 is wearing number 16.
Number 2 on that list was 700. He was a high school running back. He's built like a running back. He is built a little bit like Deebo Samuel, and he ran right through that tackle.
Austin Reed just went to the sideline and said to a couple of his guys, "You're way too high. Stay right here. Right here. Be level-headed." Maybe it's his job to be fiery, but keep everybody else.
Yeah, you see it right there. And I think that's just confidence, man. Look, we can do this. We can throw it against anybody.
And they have. Ohio State has run it in twice for its 14 points so far today with TreyVeon Henderson.
So they can throw it against anybody, and this dude can run it against anybody. I mean, off the charts freshman record when it came to scoring touchdowns. In the stretch play, both staffs knew it. This is where there was going to be some opportunity. That was a swing pass, but same idea. Get that man to the numbers and allow him to turn his shoulders, and there's going to be an immense amount of production.
About 5 yards a carry for Ohio State so far today. He's above that.
30 touchdowns in 24 games now.
That'll do.
And fully healthy. As you see his running back coach, Coach Alpha, right there in front of him.
Yeah, we can't pick him up. Let's go doubles left hip, Seahawk, flash, greeny rally. Hey, hey!
Catch anything in that play call?
I was focused on TreyVeon. I
see.
Accept it. On the sidelines. The focus. They've got the attention of these Buckeyes on that sidelines.
It's a long throw. It's Harrison. Nobody around. Marvin Harrison Jr. waltzes in.
You know the trouble with double coverage sometimes, Jason? It looks really good on a whiteboard. But when 22 miles per hour is coming at you, he is going to split a double team just like his pops used to do. Watch this. You got two guys on him. Anthony Johnson, the corner. You got the safety over the top and Weber. And you got nobody that can run with number 1-8.
He has great pride in that speed.
Dude.
He knows the numbers.
22.2 miles an hour. The fastest player on a football field, college or pro this season. And I'll be real curious what that speed was today.
We do know this. It's his longest career touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr. and the Buckeyes are in.
A game-winning field goal from 60-plus yards out, you have got to see. And Chris Peterson sounds off on fan bases overreacted. Jason and Brock, can you believe fans overreact?
No. Who would do that? After 2 weeks? No, but I'll tell you what, Georgia's got its hands full right now as Marvin Harrison Jr. just picked up his 20th career touchdown.
It is eerie how similar he is to his pops, man.
Really?
Just stretched out. Just the 6'4" version of Hall of Famer pops.
Fair catch for Elijah Young. You reached out to Peyton Manning during the course of the week, and here's what he said about Marvin.
Yeah, I said, what made him so special? And I love Peyton. He points to the guys trying to defend him. A corner told me once that all his routes look the same. The first 12 yards, they look the same, and then ultimately he'd kill you on the hooks, the short ends, the slants, the outs, and then he'd do what Son just did right there. Then he'd go right by you. Marvin worked really hard on his craft, and I'm talking every day, every drill. 2 years with him, never missed a practice. Not one, not a walkthrough, not a practice. Had that kind of intensity, and he has gifted it down to his son.
So why is that at the top of the route so important?
Because kind of like a pitcher wants to make everything look the same to a hitter, when you are a receiver with that kind of speed and body control and you put that kind of threat where it looks the same, is he going to break it off on a hook? Is it an in? Is not? And then he runs right by you like Marvin Jr. just did.
Marquis Step with a gash for Western Kentucky. And it's interesting talking about Junior. He might be a little more creative, we've heard, in terms of the top of the route, right?
Gets away with a little more. They do a little bit more wiggle. Marvin stayed on the right side the entire time in his career. As we've seen today, they move Marvin Jr. all around. But man, is he dynamic.
Reed scanning. far side, incomplete. That's a coverage for Denzel Burke, who just had the first corner pick for Ohio State in a year plus last week. Now, can Western Kentucky hold on to the ball here in one of those pivotal moments in a game? What will Jim Knowles do on this 3rd and 2?
He's going to play man-to-man. You could see it from the pre-snap.
Corley in motion with Hancock. It's Reed on the run. Second effort, and they're going to mark him short. He's about half a yard short, it looked like. Now, let's see. The official is very close now as he came from the far sideline, and it is 4th down. We'll see by how much. Oh, that's the nose of the football. That is very close. You could almost ask for a measurement on this.
I mean, you got an under center sneak right here. Now, one time this season, as Tyson Elton got under center, he told us it's in the book.
Still out of the shotgun. It is a run, and it is a first down for Reed. There were 2 teams coming into the week that had run only shotgun. This is one of them.
Yeah, he's going to follow marquee step right there in a polling guard, a polling center, Wesley Horton. There's a lot going on right there, and ultimately that's will. That is the want to and the will of a 6-year quarterback saying, I am not going to be denied.
Well, this is the type of game why you come back and play, right? Show what you can do against Ohio State. He's got a first down to the 36. Step. Leaning forward to the 41.
No, and that is a win. I mean, you actually are moving Buckeyes off of the ball. This defense has been on the field a little bit, right? They've seen a lot of pass, trying to pin their ears back and go. But that time, Michael Hall, the guys inside, Tyleek Williams, they are moving them. A first down run of 4 or 5 yards is an absolute gift and win for the Hilltoppers today.
Already racked up 165 total yards. Ohio State had only given up 10 points in the first 2 weeks combined. And remember, Western Kentucky gets the ball on a halftime. Reed inaccurate. Burke on the coverage of Jimmy Holiday. 3rd down.
It's a couple times outside the bird. A go route that time, a slant route. That's, and I love it. I mean, Austin's going to give his guys a chance, but I think the more to number 11, the better.
It's Malachi Corley. He's down in the slot at the bottom. He's matched up with Hancock down there. It's a pitch from Reed, and it's not going anywhere. Elijah Young undercut. Steel Chambers burst in.
Sure did. Steele looked like a running back. You'll see this in Steel Chambers right here. So many times on the track that he runs, it's the, look at that, it's identical, like he's in a mirror with that running back. That's the benefit of being a former running back and making that tackle for a loss.
All right, now this is a little dicey. 4th and 6 in your own territory. No sign of either punter today. Austin Reed. Tuimolo out in his face, and it's nearly intercepted. Buckeyes get it anyway. Proctor has been all over the place. He got his hands on that, and it's a turnover on downs.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bummed he didn't get his 3rd career interception, but it's right here. If Julian Fleming on the other side has been the difference maker on those touchdown runs, this near interception is all because of your rush. Tuimoloau getting into the face, and on 4th down, all that Austin Reed can do is throw it up in a situation like that. Proctor knows he comes down with it. That might have been a house call.
Well, you mentioned this before the game. The numbers have not been gaudy for Sawyer and Tuimoloau, and that's an understatement. But that 44 was involved in 4 turnovers last year in the Penn State game. He can create carnage.
Sacks can be hard to come by, but pressures mean an awful lot.
Chip Traynham, straight ahead. Really straight ahead. All the way to the house, straight ahead.
Well, what did Coach Fry want to see from that offensive line? He wanted to see displacement. He wanted to see movement. And he wanted to see violence as you move people off the ball. So those big horses could come riding right behind.
So look, there was some conversation about number of plays, yards per play for the Buckeyes. Last 2 plays, 115 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's 57.5 yards a play. Keep that up. You're probably going back to the college football playoff for the 4th time in 5 years.
Probably the best blocks of Fryer and Jones this season. It paves the way for Traynham, as you said. East and west, no. North and south to pay dirt.
Hi.
Plan for fans. Near pick for Proctor, who's had a great game so far today. And then immediately a touchdown run for Chip Traynham, and the Buckeyes have created some distance the week before they go to South Bend to play Notre Dame.
Yeah, a lot of risk involved with going forward on 4th and 6, but you trust your offense a lot more than you trust your defense if you're Western Kentucky and Traynham and crew, and really the guys up front, man. It's been a gold star effort. Receivers blocking, the offensive line doing their job. If the game plan was to impose your will, you're starting to feel it, and Tyson Helton knows it.
28-10 Buckeyes. 64-2 Ohio State. Their last 66 games in the non-conference. And this into the end zone. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summaries. Sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. Austin Reed has kept Western Kentucky in this game.
He has. He's done a little bit with his legs, his scrappiness, but look at the numbers of McCord. He missed an early hitch route. The sack fumble you don't love, but he's really bounced back since that moment, not missed a throw in the explosive play back in the arsenal.
Ohio State right now is 11+ yards per play. Obviously, the explosive plays have contributed to that. But if you're an Ohio State fan, you've seen a lot of what you wanted to see, I would have to imagine.
Yep.
Reed in sunlight, drops it off for Irvin Poindexter, and he is swarmed. Steel Chambers was first. 2nd down coming up.
And what you've really liked defensively is just what you said right there. Guys getting to the ball, swarming and pursuing. When you simplify, you don't stunt, you don't blitz, you don't do all this stuff. You actually simplify your fronts and coverages. You allow guys to cut it loose. And the caliber of athletes you have on that defense, exactly what you want to do.
Jim Knowles, 2nd year defensive coordinator with the Buckeyes after his stint at Oklahoma State. This is batted away, incomplete. Denzel Burke is seeking the football nowadays.
Yeah, and this guy's been different this year. That's Jim Knowles. Who is your best corner at playing the ball? Look at eyes into the backfield. The most experienced DB. He feels that slant route. He doesn't go through the receiver early, times it perfectly. The best corners have an athletic arrogance to them. You can just feel it. The number 10s has sure grown a bunch this year.
Well, we've seen one of them lead Colorado with that confidence and that bravado and that coaching skill to an undefeated start. The story of college football. Reed on the run, sets and fires, got a 1st down across the 40-yard line. Blue Smith put it on the deck. It is Ohio State football. Igbenogson gets on top of it.
Moving on the field with a fumble.
And I think it was Jordan Hancock with the contact to jar it loose. An earlier pass interference penalty, but once again, look at all of the Buckeyes in and around the football. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't see one other Hilltopper in that shot right there. It is nothing but scarlet. Helmet to the ball. And unlike earlier when it squirted free, this time Igbenogson is able to recover.
Western Kentucky was 3rd in the country the last 2 years coming in, plus 17 turnover margin. Can't give it away here. The margin is too slim.
First of the season, I believe.
It was. And it's the former Buckeye, Blue Smith, who put it on the carpet here at the Horseshoe. Kyle McCord. Some blitzers were shown. Rome Weber was up at the line. Now they check out of it. TreyVeon Henderson spun around, and down he goes. He was following Donovan Jackson. Second down.
He sure was. As Donovan Jackson just ragdolled Hilltopper. Yeah, after that sack fumble, pretty darn good response. The explosive play, a big part of it.
Longest touchdown of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s career, 75 yards. Chip Trainum, 40-yard rushing touchdown. And Western Kentucky will get the ball after halftime, but how close will it be? Play action, McCord on the roll, drops it off, tight end Stover. Again, wide open space in Columbus.
Well, you run all of that outside stretch, right? And this, I told you, devastating play action comes off of it. All of the movement, nobody left out in the flat. Tate Stover with yet another 20-plus.
They'll go to the short side, and Henderson. Tyson Summers, defensive coordinator. A lot of turnover for this Western Kentucky staff. They've had 3 offensive coordinators the last 3 years. McCord down the middle, wide open, Egbuka, touchdown.
So good.
And 23 points the first 2 weeks, and this is a grand slam in the first half for Ohio State.
Everybody getting to eat in the first 30.
Extra point for Jaden Fielding is good.
Jason, this is so good with Kyle McCord's feet. This is where it all starts. How much conversation did we have with Ryan Day about those feet yesterday?
A lot.
Size 14s, big ones. He did not do that week 1 or 2. You did not see that one time.
What specifically?
Specifically, he looks to his left, and then he comes right back around, and he plants his feet in the ground. You know, many times you see his feet kind of chopping, and he doesn't mind if that front foot is a little soft, but that back foot, put the heel in the ground, and you could throw it with some velocity and some steam. That was his best rep. That is going to be one, I promise you, that Ryan Day will say, right there, kid. That's it. That's the game. You see guys do it as they get ready for the combine and all these QB gurus, right, and all these drills, and hey, I'm going to look left, and I'm going to match my feet and my eyes and come back to that backside. That's a step in the right direction.
Concisely, Ryan Day said when his feet are right, he's really good.
Yep. And other than that sack fumble today, the early missed hitch, everything else has been pretty darn sharp.
Last 6 plays for the Buckeyes have gone for $165 and 3 touchdowns. And they've left Western Kentucky with only aspirations of scoring late in the first half. The all-new Undisputed is here. Skip Bayless is back, joined by NFL legends Richard Sherman, Michael Irvin, and Keyshawn Johnson. It's Undisputed weekdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern only on FS1.
You know what helps with getting your feet set?
What's that?
A run game and protection.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, it just slows that opponent down. It fires all these folks up. I mean, compare and contrast what Austin Reed is facing and going through on that side versus what the hometown faithful are watching when the Buckeyes have the ball.
To your point, Ohio State only allowed 12 sacks all of last year. That was top 7 in the country. So you refurbish the offensive line and a new quarterback, and you're playing whack-a-mole a little bit in the first couple of weeks.
Yep. Yeah, you just got to get this game to halftime. If you're Western Kentucky, get the ball back here, but make sure you do not leave a lot of time if you can't convert.
Reed down the seam. Got it. River helms the tight end, spinning inside the 45.
Now that changes the dynamic a little bit of zone coverage. And that time, I think it was Denzel Burke, the corner, that's just a little late on the seam route to Helms.
Reed drops it off and got the completion to his running back step. Chambers just throttled him, second down.
Yeah, once again, just another hit. Once again, bodies all around Austin Reed. And you're not having to bring 5 or 6 or 7 and giving him a hot throw. It's been largely 4 and 5. Squeeze in that pocket.
After talking to him, though, I kind of feel like he lives for this.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
Climbing the pocket, ducking out of one tackle, and then he's wrangled down. Tyleek Williams was in on it. Third down coming up. That was one timeout remaining for Western Kentucky. They just buried it.
Kentucky.
Ohio State's defense has been pretty good.
Effort, effort, effort. Those were the buzzwords all week long, both offensively and defensively in Columbus. And I love the amount of population around the football. Whether it's been Austin Reed in the pocket, look at this right here. I mean, there are 6, 7 Buckeyes in the screen before Corley, the extra receiver, even tries to attempt recovering that football.
You asked Ryan Day, how do you teach that violence during the week? And he said, well, when they start talking about scheme, you go back to playing hard. So if the players mention scheme or tactic strategy, you just say, look, play hard.
Yep. Yeah, Larry Johnson Sr. is not a bad guy to have implementing some of that as well.
Well, what they've turned out in terms of valuable defensive talent into the NFL is astounding.
Off the charts. And the NFL guys right now are probably a little more on your perimeter, although Michael Hall Jr. is coming. You could start to feel his growth in development as well.
Said the offensive coordinator for Western Kentucky, trying to find a third down conversion. Reed near side, incomplete. We wanted Barry. It's fourth down, and you pretty much might as well go for it.
Well, this time he does get pressure. I think what Jim Knowles is feeling from the booth is very comfortable on the perimeter, because that is 6 Buckeyes coming at you. And whether it's Burt, Barry, Smith, yep, they're not winning the one-on-ones outside. Got to come back to the football is what Reed is looking for there.
Looked like he wanted to go catch the pass himself, the way he propelled himself forward. 4th and 10 for Austin Reed.
They've been doubling Corley. You've got to find somehow, some way to get number 11 involved.
3 down linemen for Ohio State. They will rush 3 and cave in the pocket anyway enough. That might be miscommunication with the receiver again, Musa Berry, and it's incomplete. Ohio State will take over.
Yeah, just nowhere to go. Jim Knowles is not going to allow Corley. You're going to see him right here in the middle of the field, and you're going to see Eichenberg in front of him, coverage behind him. Go ahead, throw it to anybody else but Corley. That has been, I think, the solution here in the second quarter, as Jack Sawyer says, yep, it only took 3 to get home and make an impact.
Yeah, Tui Moloau made his presence sense there.
Yeah, I know. How many sacks do we have? We have a sack?
I don't believe so.
And it doesn't?
No, one sack. A couple plays ago.
So it's the pressures, man. It's squeezing that pocket, right? It's making that quarterback uncomfortable. Job accomplished in the first half.
If you're trying to make this a stress test for the offense, you might as well go for a little bit more. McCord on the roll, and he just totes it out of bounds. I mean, look, this is a learning experience for Ohio State's offense. Notre Dame is in 30 minutes and 22 seconds of game time.
That's right. And I think you feel a whole lot better about that game than you did the previous 120 minutes of some growth and development. Indiana was kind of funky, man. Triple option on offense. They're a good defense that came after. You had a lot of free runners at Ryan Day and Kyle McCord. Last week, much more efficient and building on it today.
Played keep away last week. Youngstown State did. McCord down the middle. Puts it right on the money for Stover, the tight end. And he is tight-roping inside the red zone.
Who is this guy? A 49-yarder in the open. You're going to see him come right into your screen across the field. Cade Stover, former DN, former linebacker, tight end, and now just a threat in the passing game.
Former basketball star in high school. McCord, end zone, right there, touchdown, the second for Egbuka. That happened in a heartbeat.
Do you know how easy he made this catch look? If you and me try to attempt to do that with our bodies and flip your hips full speed like that, it doesn't look anything like that. You're probably falling, and I'm falling all over myself. But the body control of Emeka and Marvin is just different. And yes, I said it by first name.
Yeah, because they're basically pop stars at this point. And how much success they've had.
Yeah, you just put this DB in the spin cycle. Just a great concept. A little wheel route here. Western Kentucky a little bit late to get lined up. You sell the wheel and see you later.
Well, that's exactly what Brian Hartline was talking about, though, right? We control the defensive backs.
Yep.
And, you know, he also mentioned, as you see the disappointment on the face of Western Kentucky all the way throughout this rampage by Ohio State, Brian Hartline talking to him about specifics, about wide receiver play, even about how getting upright makes the defensive back think you're stopping, right? And the details that he puts into making sure that everything, as you said, like a baseball player, pitcher, looks like tunneling, right? And so you can't read what's going to happen next.
You know, and I had not thought about Brian Hartline's hurdling background until our conversation with him yesterday. First time we've talked to him in all these years is he's elevated to the OC spot. And he said, you know, there's a lot of precision in hurdles, right? 8 steps over the hurdle. 8 steps, just the timing of that. And there it really is a parallel to route running in the precision of detail that he demands.
Well, that's how you get quality control, to make sure it all looks the same. And you got to watch Marvin Harrison Jr. yesterday.
I did.
At the facility.
And I had not seen this machine at the collegiate level. So this is, you see right here, this little screen, you can basically program any throw you want, and those 6 balls come firing. You want a 50-yard throw with this degree of arc. You want this slant route on this spot with this miles per hour. I mean, I've seen a lot of jugs machines. This is next level, and yeah, no surprise that Marvin was out there, and then Emeka joins him, and everybody's got to come participate.
What does that do for you as a receiver in terms of precision, you think?
Oh, it's just rep and rep and rep and rep and work and work. And these guys are pros.
Sleek first half for the Buckeyes.
Dominant. You want to bump me down a couple spots in the AP poll? I'll let you know how I feel about it.
42-10 is how they feel. Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, Chris Peterson in Los Angeles, the State Farm halftime show, boys. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. It's easy to Geico. That piece of music we chose was a good one because the drop a little while in was basically how that first half went. Western Kentucky was hanging around, but Ohio State blew it open. 271 through the air, a lot of that on just a handful of plays for the Buckeyes.
Want to come in and impose their will, and they did it. They did it running left early on the stretch touchdown run. Look at the big guys out in front of TreyVeon. They come back with the stretch play to the right. Julian Fleming driving his corner into the end zone, and then the big shot. I think these two have done it a time or two over their years together, high school and now collegiately. You saw the big touchdown from Harrison. Well, the dynamic duo's got to be complimented, right? And Emeka gets his touchdown, and then ultimately that physical prowess that you started to feel from this defense. Yes, Western Kentucky ran 45 plays and held the ball a bit, but you just started to feel the swagger of the Buckeye defense as that game built on and really hammered them there late in that first half.
So Kyle McCord, has he gone from here to here, here to here? Where is it?
It is that next step. Yeah. It's that next step in the progression. That's what this game was, right? That next step. Just put another game of experience under your belt. It's not over yet. Right, Western Kentucky's going to get the ball, and I'm sure Ryan Day had many of those same comments at halftime. Beautiful first half, explosive plays. Now let's continue to take the next step forward here. And don't let up. Look at that. Sheesh.
Yeah, that's rapid fire. But if you don't want to get upset, that's how you do it.
Yep.
It's like a 10-0 run in basketball. Off we go, second half from Columbus. Elijah Young will wave it off downstairs to Allison Williams.
Well, I spoke to both coaches at the half for Western Kentucky's Tyson Helton. He said offensively, they're moving the ball well. They're just not able to convert on 3rd and 4th down. His biggest concern was with that defense. He said at times we're just really outmanned and we're getting bullied out there, but we've got to keep our composure here in the second half. We're going to keep rolling the dice. We're going to keep playing. We told our guys, you got to treat it like it's 0-0. As for Coach Day, he said, you know, credit to that defense that continuously put his offense in good positions as they tried to kind of settle in and find their rhythm, and really pleased with how his quarterback Kyle McCord responded. He said he missed a potential big play when he got sacked, but he stayed with it, and happy with the physicality. Guys, they're playing hard, they're running downhill.
We're hearing a lot, complimentary football, but you mentioned it earlier. Ryan Day has learned from those big games and what you're building toward if you're Ohio State, and sometimes the defense has to guide your offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane when you look at Ryan, 47-6, and you know all 6 of those losses. If you know college football, you can rattle them off. And on that stage and in those games, he's absolutely right. You've got to be balanced when you're going up against those who physically are as good as you and go toe-to-toe. It typically is the balanced, complementary team that wins in those big games.
Malachi Corley on the catch. He is across the 40, breaking tackles again. And the helmet went rolling out of bounds. He held on to the ball. He lost his helmet on the tackle.
For West Kentucky.
He'll have to come off for one play.
Yeah, he is a physical dude. And Denzel Burke, who's done an excellent job in coverage, tried to take a little shot on him. Proctor ended up wrapping it up. Helmet comes off. He comes off. And they've got to find a way. Somehow, some way. Got doubled an awful lot in that second quarter by Jim Knowles. Got to find a way to get him in space.
10 targets, 6 catches, 77 yards for Corley. Elijah Young with another carry into the middle of that Ohio State defense. And yeah, it's 42-10. Yes, Western Kentucky probably isn't going to come back and win this game. But if you're Malachi Corley, you feel like, look, I've said it to myself over and over again. I can play with these guys.
Yep.
I can play with these guys.
And when you see them on the other side, not only the defenders, but when you see the 2 on the other side that are going to be first-round draft picks, you want to match up against the best.
Reed on the roll. And he steps out of bounds. Small thing there, but he ends up getting a couple extra yards.
And once again, there's a pressure. There's no sack, but there's yet again another pressure and a veteran that doesn't stand there. Going to be some other quarterbacks Ohio State is going to face. JT is going to face. Jack is going to face that may not have the pocket presence and the feel and the ability to avoid, but this front 4 has certainly got into the face of Austin Reed a bunch.
Quarterback for Western Kentucky by way of Southern Illinois, West Florida, for a program that just went FBS in the last decade and a half. Reed, quick throw on the slant. That's incomplete, and it's Hancock, who's been playing slot corner, 4th and 4.
Yeah, this is starting to grow a little bit, and this is going to be a welcome addition if Jordan Hancock can be a lockdown kind of nickel slot defender. There's the one-on-one. You got what you wanted, even outside technique on that slant. But we've seen Denzel do this, just sneaky, perfect timing to not come through the receiver, but have the body control and athleticism to knock it away. Well done.
Egbuka on the return. Tom Eller, the punter. He is from Melbourne, Australia. His parents have come to this game to watch here in Columbus, and the first time he shows up on the field, it's a very good punt to the 10-yard line, and the Buckeyes will have it. This offense has been burning late in the first half. They get it back.
Statistically, the world is losing color. But who wants a gray world when we could have this? Honey yellow, periwinkle, indigold. Things stay the same when the same is where you stay. But in hundreds of Delta destinations, simply opening your eyes can open your world.
Find your inner flex. With Double Flex Ballroom Denim. Only at Duluth Trading.
Neither snow-capped mountains nor puddles of water, nor unexpected detours with a 20-foot drainage pipe can stop the ruggedly capable Telluride X Pro from getting you to your dinner reservation on time.
Okay.
Kia, movement that inspires.
We love our house.
It's on a great block, tree-lined streets.
The neighbors are observant.
And we're back at the Sullivan house.
It's lawn day, Sheila, and the leaves are piling up.
Bit of an eyesore.
I'll say.
Dry shave. Interesting technique.
That's going to come back to haunt him. Some people clean while they cook, not these folks.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Saves us a ton. If only they'd bundled the leaves. You know, I wouldn't have pegged these two as yogis.
I still don't.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Your favorite thing delivered right to your door means that you never have to stop doing your other favorite thing. Nailed it. Order McDelivery in the app.
This is Crapopolis. I swear it's not as bad as the name sounds. Or that looked.
I bet he deserved it.
How'd everyone sleep? I'll go first. With your mother and erotically.
Crapopolis. Special premieres September 24th on Fox.
2 incompletions for Kyle McCord, newly anointed the starter.
Yeah, a lot of space around him in the pocket, and then guys running free down the field, and he didn't miss them. 13 of 15, 271, 3 touchdowns. Got it to his superstars. Emeka with 2 of those touchdowns. Harrison, the big blow. But what I love is what Coach Day said to Allison, just his feet and his poise, coming back from a sack fumble. Right, an early 3rd down incompletion. It did not derail him. That's the life of a quarterback, especially at this institution. You have got to respond to adversity. And he did.
Handoff to Henderson, putting the head down and creating thunder at the 12. Now, McCord, 10 yards plus, wasn't great coming in, Brock.
No, he was not. And look at this. He is perfect today. In fact, on the season coming in, he was just 27% in that intermediate. 3 of 6 down the field. He adds another one of those today. But it's that intermediate area where C.J. Stroud was so elite. Why he was the number 2 pick in the draft, and Kyle all over it.
Fleming, little shimmy, and he leans for what looks like an Ohio State first down. Allison, what do you have downstairs?
Guys, there was certainly an evaluation period with the first couple games for Kyle McCord, right? But there's also a feeling out period for Ryan Day and how to coach McCord. He said it takes a few days, and it's not cookie cutter with quarterbacks. Every guy is different. It's a little bit like coaching a golfer. He said you can screw up a really good golfer if you get into his head. So he has to feel out his quarterback. He has to get feedback from him throughout the first couple games, and now they can start to really get in a rhythm and communicate in the most effective way.
It's interesting comparing it to golf and how important the mental side of sports is.
Yep. And how fundamental the golf swing is. And how you can screw it up if you try to change this technique. He doesn't have anything in his swing, in his footwork, that needs to be overcorrected. It just at times needs to be efficient and streamlined. And throws like that. Again, when I think of Ryan Day, you do have a lot of explosives. You do have underneath. But, man, he attacks the intermediate area of the field as much as anybody in college football.
So you have to be well above average accurate in that category, right?
No question.
We have a marker coming in.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And it's why his guys have been first-round picks. Right? I mean, it's why Dwayne Haskins, and just a rare mistake there by Ohio State and anybody up front. That's why Dwayne Haskins was a first-round pick, and Justin Fields was a first-round pick, and C.J. Stroud's a number 2 pick. Because at the next level, where he coached, you've got to be able to attack all areas of the field. And his system demands it from his quarterbacks. And if you could do it, guess what? You got a pretty good chance of getting yourself to the league.
Quarterback coach up there in San Francisco, Philadelphia, with Chip Kelly, his mentor, his college coach at New Hampshire. That's a little high, but it's Marvin Harrison Jr. And here's some of those quarterbacks you were talking about here at the Ohio State University. Dwayne Haskins back in 2019, Justin Fields 2021, still figuring it out in Chicago, and C.J. Stroud newly with the Texans.
And he was the highest of all of those, and somewhat the standard now, I think, for Ryan Day. And it was accuracy and anticipation. That's why C.J. went where he went, and you watched him just grow week after week. Over the 2 seasons, he was a starter.
McCord, hard throw, and that is caught by Johnson, and hit immediately by Weber. Kind of got caught up in the wash there.
That was an excellent play. They've picked on Rome Weber down the field, but this is an excellent job with his eyes, seeing the route form in front of it, and Cade Stover can't get to him. Ryan Day, body language didn't love that, because that's about one of the first and only times where Ohio State took the brunt of that contact and didn't initiate it.
Johnson wearing the fabled Block O jersey. He's been through a lot in this program, a bunch of jersey numbers first of all, but positions, wide receiver room that's been changing. He doesn't have a huge role in the pass game every game, as that punt ends up going out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
Punters.
We have them. Who knew?
Okay, again, this is a status bar, this is a search bar. Let's know the difference, okay?
Social media. It can be overwhelming for a young homeowner turning into their parents.
Now, what does it mean to slide into someone's DMs? That sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay, we're not ready for that.
As a team, we'll get there.
It might be a fruit emoji, but that doesn't mean they're talking about fruit.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto with us.
Okay, do you really think we need 47 photos of fun dinner at Pam's?
Yes.
No.
This is the hotel breakfast.
It looked different online.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. All right, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving.
When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get 'em.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Even when things seem quieter, the urge to protect means staying on the lookout to help keep others from harm. At Pfizer, we're driven by this impulse, and we keep innovating. Whatever comes next, we will respond fiercely, like family. This season's updated COVID-19 shots are now available. Schedule at vaccines.gov.
I'm so glad we did this.
I'm so glad we did this.
I'm so glad we did this.
Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it.
I'm so glad we did this.
Edward Jones.
Hey, used to have a silver tooth and I was just a pup. I don't wanna catch the feelings, I be trying to shoot us up. I let shorty clean the business, I been diving in the rough. Hey, first order of biz, no snitch, and I try to keep it silent, but the kids don't listen.
Start Saturday strong with America's #1 game. This Big Noon Saturday on Fox. It all starts at 10 Eastern with Big Noon Kickoff, live from Cincinnati.
What a run!
Then, quarterback Dylan Gabriel leads the Oklahoma Sooners into a conference clash against Big 12 newcomer, the Cincinnati Bearcats. The best pregame, the best announcers, the biggest game. Oklahoma, Cincinnati, Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect the stuff you love with Renter's Insurance. And by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. Buckeye Grove outside the southwest corner of the stadium here. Since 1934, a Buckeye tree planted in honor of each of the first-team All-Americans. You saw our pal Chris Spielman, Chris Carter, Archie Griffin, Marvin Harrison Jr., Paris Johnson, first-team All-Americans last year. And you see, these are all the losses under Ryan Day. You can fit them on one graphic.
Yeah, it reminds me an awful lot of covering Chip Kelly at Oregon. And I went back and looked. Chip Kelly at Oregon, the mentor of Ryan Day, the guy that recruited him, by the way, to college, was 46-7. 46-7. Ryan's 47-6, and there's your 6. All pretty top-tier talent. I mean, that is, he does not lose to anybody that he is favored against. And against the best of the best, I think he's learned maybe a little bit more balance is going to be necessary.
And yet, some of the conversation around here is about job security as Corley runs across the 45-yard line, because the school up north is, if you haven't heard, a major rival of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And even though Ohio State made the college football playoff, 2 losses to Michigan, start to rankle people.
And he knows that. That's, if C.J. Stroud is a standard for Kyle McCord, then you know the standard is perfection here. Yeah. And certainly beating that team up north.
It's Michigan, if the clues hadn't gotten you there. Step to the 50-yard line. But look, this is, you said it off the top. It's a stress test. But you have an offense who just hasn't seen the ball as much as they're used to. And then you have a defense trying to simplify everything.
Yep.
So it's almost like a warm front and a cold front coming together in this game, and it's gone very well so far.
I mean, you asked him that, I thought, beautifully yesterday. Is this kind of perfect when if you could schedule, you know, a non-conference? You saw a triple option. You saw a team try to take every second of the play clock in Youngstown State and shorten it. And now you've got this wide open affair. I mean, you've kind of seen it all before you head to South Bend next week.
Well, these games are scheduled well in advance. You kind of luck into 3 separate looks. This is blown up. Step got turned all around by Lathan Ransom.
Yeah, be the hitter and not the hittee. And when you simplify and you don't have a million things going through your mind, right, and you know your assignments inside and out, you could pull the trigger like that.
He's a 4th-year guy in the program. They have some history in this back end. They haven't gotten the football nearly as much as they've wanted to, but there is some seniority back there.
Burt's a 3rd-year player. He's a 4th-year player. Proctor's a 6th-year player. There is loads of experience.
Egbuka, the fair catch. Ohio State will have it when we come back. The Buckeyes tuning up for Notre Dame next week. We'll see what the offense has in store in the final quarter and a half for Ryan Day here in Columbus.
I've got home internet from T-Mobile. It only costs $50 at T-Mobile. Just 1 cord to set up. Say goodbye to that truck. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. They won't raise your rates at T-Mobile. You'll get a great deal every day.
Home internet from T-Mobile, just $50 a month.
Let's go for a drive.
That was crazy. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Lost Medicaid or CHIP coverage? Healthcare.gov is here for you.
Where can we find a low-cost health plan?
What about a plan that covers doctor visits?
Emergency care?
Prescriptions?
With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month.
What's the website again?
Healthcare.gov.
Time to spare? Maybe someday. Tonight,
Panera. Solving crunch time and dinner with one easy swipe. That's big. Panera. $0 delivery fee for a limited time.
On a devastating Fansville.
Whoa! That's it. Season's over. I can't watch this.
I made all this for nothing!
That was the first play of the game.
Maybe we overreacted.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. The second Republican primary debate on Fox Business. The race for the presidency is on. Dana Perino, Stuart Varney, and Univision's Elia Calderon moderate the second Republican primary debate, September 27th at 9 Eastern on Fox Business and simulcasting on Fox News Channel.
Time now for Above and Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. It's the principles for Ohio State. Big days all throughout.
Got a lot of mouths to feed, as we said in that first half. A lot of 4 stars, a lot of 5 stars. Got to keep them happy. Certainly for some of them, their draft stock starts to come into play as well. And it's been well balanced, well diversified.
Well, Marvin Harrison Jr. and McCord have a history going back to St. Joe's Prep in Philadelphia. They both came to the city from their respective towns as Henderson's got a run, and he has absolutely been a tractor. Weber tackles him to the 31.
I just love the effort of the guys up front. I think there was a little conversation after that last series that, hey, let's not step off the gas. And it was the offensive line that imposed their will early. As we got a little false start, it looks like, but set the foundation for everything else, and that was a terrific job of getting on blocks.
Snap infraction. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's on Hinsman, the new center, who redshirted last year.
See what Lyman do? See him just hit himself in the face.
What's the O-line room like in your experience?
One of the most beautiful places on earth.
Is that right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I mean, they are the heartbeat of the team. You get a lot of other stars everywhere else, man, but that is a group that works 5 as 1. And when they're cool and they're good and they're close, nothing better for a football team.
Talking about it like it's the 8th wonder of the world. McCord on play action comes this side. It's Stover again. Massive day for the tight end Stover, except he lost the football. Ohio State is on top of it, however. It's Tate, the freshman, Carnel Tate, as Washington knocked it free.
Stover has been wide open. A lot of attention elsewhere. But a terrific punch right there. A Peanut Tillman punch to be proud of. And how about the freshman? The freshman with the awareness there, Carnel Tate, to get to the football. Bryson Washington, awesome job. Stover knows that the freshman picked him up right there.
Tate out of the Chicago area, went to IMG Academy down in Bradenton for a couple of years after his time at Marist in Chicago. Play action. McCord, that side. Stover again, right back to him. Feed him.
Why not?
Look, big plays can make games, and Ohio State averaged about 5 of them the first 2 games. Today, 8.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Indiana's a pretty sound team, even Youngstown State. You were going to get feast or famine with Western Kentucky. Kyle knew it coming into this matchup. Ryan Day knew it coming in. There's going to be times that they blitz like crazy. They may get home. They may sack fumble. But there's also a lot of green grass if you can block it up.
McCord, far side, got it to G. Scott Jr. Tight end, backup tight end who makes the catch.
And these crumbs lead to the cookie. Right? I mean, you've got to take these completions. There is never a bad completion. And G. Scott Jr., Cade Stover, nice little complimentary tight ends with all of the threats on the perimeter with the run game. And speaking of G. Scott Jr., I love how he too was one of these 4 or 5-star receivers out of high school in Washington State, came in here and said, you know what, I'll do whatever it takes. And has added 20, 30 pounds, become one of their best blockers. Found a pretty important role with this offense, certainly moving forward.
Brian Hartline called it a very humble decision to go from wide receiver to tight end, do what the team needs, stick around, and he has. Near side in the air for Tate, and it's incomplete. McCord felt it this time.
Well, there's a little bit of that feast or famine, right? You've just got to throw some numbers, and one of the first real unblocked defenders, the line turns the other way. TreyVeon goes away from that blitzer.
That was Kylan Guidry. who came on the pressure.
That was a lot more of what Tyson Summers was hoping for. The defensive coordinator there for Western Kentucky, and Tyson Helton as well. A rare stop. Back to back.
And Ohio State will punt. Mirko to the 5, and a fair catch by Hutchinson. 42-10 Western. This is ridiculous. What would you call this, bro?
Carnage.
It is carnage.
It was nerve-wracking. You could see the collision coming.
You want a replay or at least? Oh. Wow. Hat on a hat. What a fall. Somebody's been watching the American Gladiators documentary. Man, you want to go do that right now. I know you. Western Kentucky football after that interlude. And it's a and the ball comes loose. Irvin Poindexter put it on the ground. Now a fight for it. In the end zone, a big old scrum. And they're going to have to unpack. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, no, they're not. Tyleik Williams engulfed the football. Give it to me, he said.
I think Denzel Burke was watching the carnage there during the timeout, because look at him come up and put his head right on the football, right there. Eyes up. Face mask to the ball. Steel Chambers going to be kicking himself. He didn't scoop and score. Big 91 is you're right. He came into that pile and look at him fight and claw. That is my ball and my touchdown.
Oh, let it eat. Is that the appetizer, the entree, or dessert?
Yeah, I think he kind of likes it.
He loves it. Extra point is good by Fielding.
Denzel Burke is having himself quite a day. Best cover corner on this team. Nice to see Igbenogson and Hancock come along. And once again, I mean, look at the number of Buckeyes that come into this pile.
Come on. He's just leaning.
You ever play the game Hungry Hippos?
Hungry, yes.
Yeah. That's kind of what that was for the big man. I'm going to go gobble it up, as you said.
Hey, that was an archaeology dig. Like, he just got the shovel out.
But it's effort, too, right? I mean, it's the effort of the freshman to go recover a fumble. It's the effort of all those guys to get into the pile. That was the buzzword around Columbus this week. No matter who we play, it is about us, and we play hard. And Jim Knowles, right there, seen a lot of ball in this time, and I don't think I enjoy talking to a D coordinator more, anybody, than Jim Knowles. One of those wise, just there's so much wisdom, right? Just less is more.
Well, and his ability to adapt, right? He goes to Oklahoma State. He's got to deal with Big 12 offenses. He has to shapeshift, be a chameleon, figure all that out. He comes to Ohio State. He figures out the Big Ten a little bit, and now wants to develop more in year 2.
Yeah, I asked him just point blank, year 1 to year 2, what did you learn? And I think he would tell you that at Oklahoma State, at Duke, I had to call guys into plays. I had to make the right call to defeat the other call. Here, I just got to cut my Buckeyes loose, man. We've got to do it fundamentally. We've got to do it the right way, understanding the why in our defense. And I think what you love to see, a lot of bodies on the back end, rotating as Larry Johnson always likes to do, the big guys up front.
Can I ask you, when does Tyleik Williams stop smiling? Is it 3 days from now?
Probably after dinner tonight.
He already had dinner, Brock. He just had it in the end zone. Table for one. Williams party.
He just came in. There's like 8 dudes, and you're absolutely right. Like, my ball. My turn.
The dude, I love big guys who just know they're going to win, right? He went into that pile. He knew he was going to win. Awesome.
No chance. My ball.
He doesn't sound like that.
You sure?
I'm certain of it. He's so jovial. I love it. 2nd down and 4 for Western Kentucky. Quick set again for Reed. This is Burt, the Columbus native, and he's yanked out of bounds right around the line to gain. How about that? A Columbus native who hadn't been to the Horseshoe except for when he volunteered as part of a fundraiser at a Taylor Swift concert.
Pretty cool. I mean, not a lot of fun to see the guys running and hitting and flying everywhere. And
no.
Blue Smith's had a little bit of a rough afternoon in a homecoming as well. But you're absolutely right. You grow up in this town. You know you have so many family and friends here. Hopefully an opportunity in the final 18 minutes to make a big play.
Marquis stat. Look, big picture, though. You've been down on the field like this. You understand when you go into a visiting place, you're probably never going to play there again in the non-conference. And so there's a matter of we want to win, but also you're not going to take that memory away.
Absolutely. I was catching up with some of the Hilltoppers on the field before the game. Like, yeah, Auburn was really cool. Auburn was really loud. This is your first time in the Horseshoe.
Yeah.
And I said to you, man, the population here is just different. Tyson Helton said this week that the Rose Bowl probably #1, but he too had been here prior, and it is one of the special venues in college football.
The largest crowd Western Kentucky had ever played in front of, as Corley makes the catch, was 101,000 in Tuscaloosa against Alabama, and completely full. This place gets to 102 plus, so it should be the #1 crowd they've ever played in front of. For a proud program that, again, won a national title in 2002. They've had a lot of great basketball coaches come through. Jack Harbaugh was the coach in 2002, and they're in their very early stages as an FBS program. 3rd and 1 for Western Kentucky, who would only run 17% of their plays on 3rd down in 2 weeks coming in. This is their 13th 3rd down try, and Tyleik Williams in there again. They're going to say the ball is dead. Igbinosun picked the ball up. Tyleik Williams was just on the bench, and he was like, you know what?
Yep.
One more ribeye.
Yes. And one more time that we don't see one Buckeye making a tackle. We see 2, 3, and 4 coming to the party.
I love the spirit, man, right? Like,
I love that he was their 2nd leading tackler coming into today. 10 tackles. How many defensive tackles in college football can say they're the 2nd leading tackler on their team coming into week 3 of a season? Not very often.
That's hard work. And a want to. 4th and 1. Reed was going sideways, and he does stagger forward for the 1st down for Western Kentucky. This kid has played his tail off today. Austin Reed has taken hit after hit after hit.
Yeah, they're going to be a bowl team again. Won 9 games the last 2 years. He has not been intimidated. He just hasn't had enough guys to beat those guys on the back end of this defense.
We saw some of his signaling there as he spits that out wide, intercepted. Steel Chambers did find himself a football.
These are day 1 install fundamentals right here, Jason. You're going to see the route here. You're going to see Steel Chambers knowing it's zone coverage. I'm going to push that inside receiver, and then I'm going to get eyes to the backfield. All right, so I'm going to get underneath that route right there. I do my first job of pushing the receiver, the slot receiver. Tyleik's like, yep, let the turnover faucet begin.
He's become a star today, Tyleik Williams, as Chambers ends up with his 4th career interception. And Devin Brown's going to come play this series for Ohio State at quarterback. So it is Kyle McCord's job. Ryan Day said that before this game. Devin Brown getting some reps. You never know when you'll need a second quarterback.
Nope, and if you're Devin Brown, go put on a show, man. Go use your legs and your athleticism.
This is Trainum on 1st down. So Devin Brown is a sophomore out of Gilbert, Arizona, a couple different high schools. He had thrown 16 passes the first 2 weeks, and you mentioned the legs are very useful.
Yeah, and I think some of just the poise and the fundamentals. You know, obviously Kyle's been here another year ahead of him. It was, I think, in some ways his job to lose. They're different. Devin is more of the runner, and they may have at some point over the course of this season a package of plays for him. And that's why I'm saying to him right now in these final 15 minutes, just go let it rip. You don't have to be perfect. Just go play right now.
Here's Brown throwing out wide. It's G. Scott Jr., and he is dragged down at midfield by Rome Weber.
And sometimes you remove that competition, as Allison was talking about it for McCord. It frees you up. It can do the same to a backup. Do the same for Devin Brown here, and this will be a cool opportunity for him.
Just go play.
That's right.
Right?
You're not fighting for the job. You got nothing to lose. Go let it rip.
That is the 15 minutes for him. Best offense in the... Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. It's easy to Geico. Here at the Horseshoe, 7-0 in the third quarter. Ohio State just erupted in the second.
Yeah, this was TreyVeon, that was Emeka, that was Marvin Jr. That was an onslaught that I think some folks thought, hey man, do it week one, Indiana. Like it was just going to happen like that because of all the talent. It didn't work that way. You got to put time on task, continue to grow and develop, and what a dynamic second quarter.
Devin Brown in at quarterback, and this is a run for Mayan Williams, so it'll be 4th down and 1, and you're not trying to rub it in or anything, but you've got a backup quarterback that needs reps. You probably go for this.
Yes. Yep, you want to take a lot of this down.
Yeah, the play clock just hit his jersey number, by the way, at 33. You like that for a quarterback? You love it for a quarterback.
That's a no comment.
I'll take care of this. 4th and 1. Scott in at tight end. They'll run back of him, and Mayan Williams a first down. Well, look, the 33 is there for a very good reason. He says Sammy Baugh is one of the original quarterbacks in this game, one of the people that he reveres as a quarterback, so he wears it as a tribute. And what knowledge of history.
I love that he loves it, so go for it. And Ryan Day loved it too when he approached Ryan Day and said, what do you think? And Ryan's like, if you're all in, I'm all in. And it actually fits, I think, his style an awful lot. He's kind of like the guy on the other side. He just is a scrapper. He's a runner, and he's a competitor.
Devin Brown sets up to fire. He does near side, and that's the freshman Tate going for a trip. That's Davion Williams with the hit. If you've not heard of Sammy Baugh, you're part of our younger audience maybe. There he is, first quarterback ever into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Wearing Brock's old leather helmet.
What do you think Tom House thinks of those fundamentals?
The mechanics. I don't see a weighted ball there. This is a gain of 3. I know you adore quarterback jersey numbers that get into like the 2s and the 3s and the 4s. Johnny Lujak wearing number 32 for Notre Dame. He went off to the war effort, then came back and played. Otto Graham, 60. 60 has reported as a quarterback. There's Flutie and Bernie Kosar as well. I mean, can you imagine how often the official would have to be on the microphone?
Can you imagine how awful I would look in number 60?
Why?
Terrible.
Strapping young lad. 2nd down and 7. Play fake for Brown. A punt and a go. Down the sideline. Tate right there. Well, that's a strong ball.
Yeah, that is the best ball I've seen him throw all season long. This is going to be a little double move. And we have seen these Hilltopper DBs outside having big issues. But this is perfectly thrown. I mean, this is out right as he's coming out of his break. I said to you, man, sometimes you too can be freed up. If you're not in the competition and you don't try to do everything right and perfect, you can flourish. And that was pretty football right there.
And that's a young man celebrating his very first touchdown. True freshman out of Chicago, Carnel Tate, to give Ohio State a 56-10 lead.
They say winning begets winning. And when you've got the standards of wide receiver play at this university and you watch the best do it, no surprise that freshman gets his chance and makes it happen.
Introducing IHG One Rewards. 18 hotel brands, 6,000 global destinations, one loyalty program that lets you guest how you guest.
Jersey Mike's freshly slices your sub right in front of you. It has a rhythm.
This is the rhythm of the slice. The slice. Oh, yeah. The rhythm.
Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing.
Today, I'm doing the Degree Gray T-shirt challenge. Let's put Degree Advanced and Spice to the test and see if I get any sweat marks.
Yeah.
With non-stop sweat protection, you're not done yet.
Go, go. Cup the pace.
The result? Only one winner here.
No sweat marks.
Degree Advanced keeps working when others stop.
With the first pick in the Jersey Mike's catering box draft, Sarah from Carolina selects number 13, the original Italian.
You know, I trusted my gut, and that's exactly where the sub's going to go. So,
the Jersey Mike's catering box, a sub above.
Thursday, it's baseball night in America on Fox. Alonso and the Mets take on Harper and the Phillies. Or Rutschman and the Orioles battle Ramirez and the Guardians. Baseball night in America, Thursday on Fox.
56-10, Ohio State with the lead over Western Kentucky. And this is Kyle McCord congratulating Devin Brown on his first touchdown pass. That goes to Tate, who's got his first touchdown.
Yeah, that was a dime. I mean, that wasn't just any kind of touchdown pass. That was a double move all the way across the field. And you remember that first touchdown in this building. Tate, the true freshman receiver, Devin, a second-year player, but the first one, and it was as pretty as you could throw it. Sammy couldn't have done it any better than that. Maybe Otto.
Okay. Johnny Lujak. Western Kentucky will get it back. Young is there to receive, and he will wave it off. Let's take a look at our Good Hands Playmaker, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands. It's Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep, early and often. First series of the game, get him into space, get you 3rd and 10. Third downs have been such a problem the first 2 weeks. Yeah, and then this one, well, to 22 miles an hour last week. I'll get to 21 miles an hour this week. That, by the way, is equivalent of like 4.3, 4.4 40 stuff. Which at 6'4" is why a lot of folks are pegging him as a first or second pick in the draft with Caleb Williams.
Bronson Barron is in to play quarterback for Western Kentucky. Downstairs to Allison.
Well, guys, it's been fun to see Marvin Harrison in person, and it's crazy to think that last year he put up the numbers he did despite really playing injured for a lot of the year. He sprained his ankle in week 2 last year, and he dealt with it throughout the season, feeling like he could really only punch off of one foot. So the focus on this offseason was to strengthen that leg, make sure there was no favoritism when he was running his routes. A lot of like single leg jumps, these exercises with his eyes closed to work on his balance. He said he feels 100% better this year, and it's a scary thought to see what Marvin Harrison is able to do full strength and feeling 100% healthy.
He was a unanimous All-American last year.
Yeah, sprained ankle, and it was 77, 12, 63, and 14 touchdowns.
I do find it interesting. You hear a lot about him and McCord, right? They went to the same high school. They went to St. Joe's Prep, and they had 3 years together in high school. As a former quarterback, how much for you does that actually matter? Is that real?
Oh, it is very real.
Quick throw, and it's tipped in the air right back to Barron. Second down.
I mean, I had the good fortune, Dane Looker, 8-year NFL player. Dane and I grew up together in Puyallup junior high school. He started playing basketball, and he transferred to Washington. And Dane and I put on camps in the summertime, and I would go back to Puyallup with Dane, and I could close my eyes. In fact, I think I could still do it today.
Really?
Much like, yeah, I think Kyle and Marvin could do the same thing. Close my eyes and go run a slant route. And I know exactly where you are because I have thrown the ball to you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times. So you just know without even looking at them exactly where they are. But that only comes with years and years and years of experience.
Even now, that's like jarring to me that decades later that still matters.
I bet Peyton and Marvin Sr. could do the exact same on this field right now, too.
How about that? We should call them, see if they can. More on that when we come back. 56-10, timeout.
Marathon knows that fans are the true co-pilot of any team. Through the good and the bad, you support your team through every season. So for every grill master, all-star athlete, and face paint fixer, know that Marathon is here to keep you and your team fueled on and off the field. Wherever the game takes you, Marathon is by your side because we're driven together.
Oh, well, this is me.
It's still early. You want to maybe grab a coffee?
With the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card, you earn 2% cash back on what you want, like coffee, ping pong, a movie, karaoke, and 2% cash back on what you need.
No. Just my shoe.
Like maybe shoes without laces.
Just my shoe, folks.
The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. That's real life ready.
Man, I wish I was out there.
Let's unretire.
Why not?
Hey, Grandpa!
Grandpa?
I still got it.
Hey, I need that senior discount.
I'm good right here, bro.
Unretirement? Who'd be dumb enough to do that?
A truck is a tool, but a Ram is life. It's the let's load up the ATV's life. The my kids play way too many sports life. The let's find a secret spot to fish life. Nice. Discover how Ram powers all the lives you live during Ram Power Days.
During Ram Power Days, get $4,000 retail consumer cash allowance on most 2023 Ram 1500 trucks. See your Ram dealer today.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. The wide receiver is in the NFL from Ohio State, Garrett Wilson. What a catch on Monday night. One of the best you'll see all year in week 1. But they can train him. You said that it's a pro room here that Brian Hartline runs.
Yep, and when those guys came in, when Emeka and Marvin came in with Kyle, they watched Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and C.J. Stroud and went, okay, so this is how it's done. This is the standard. This is the expectation that when we get our chance, we've got to play to.
Brian Hartline did say to us, the expectation is not that these guys will play as freshmen. They'll have time to learn from the other guys. Allison, what do you have?
Well, Brock was talking about being able to throw to his high school receiver blindfolded, right? So I asked McCord for you, Brock, if he felt like he could throw to Harrison blindfolded. He laughed. He said he hasn't tried, but he definitely thinks he could, and that the chemistry is real between those two. He said it's just the time together. It's the years of throwing to him. If there's a route where he has an option to break in or out, I can just read his body language, and I know we're on the same page. And Harrison said it's the same for him. He's like, it's just that friendship, it's that connection we have off the field that makes our connection so strong on the field.
Oh boy, Barron gets absolutely mauled. 4th down. What is it? Is it the footwork as we watch this caving in on Barron?
Yeah, it's the opposite of this, where everything does just barrel down on you, and that's a no fun place to be. As Melton gets home with the sack as well, pretty cool. But he's going to add one to his ledger. It is. It's the body language, and some of it's just the stuff that's unsaid. Watching Marvin Sr. and Peyton work was, I mean, it was art. They didn't even have to communicate double moves. They just were on the exact same page. Coaches like to call it time on task. And it just affords you a depth of background and knowledge and success that, well, it's just different when you spend that much time together.
More background and knowledge and Buckeye success when we come back to Columbus. 56-10 Ohio State a week before Notre Dame looms.
Even when things seem quieter, the urge to protect means staying on the lookout to help keep others from harm. At Pfizer, we're driven by this impulse, and we keep innovating. Whatever comes next, we will respond fiercely, like family. This season's updated COVID-19 shots are now available. Schedule at vaccines.gov.
Chipotle's carne asada is back. It's our most tender cuts of steak, grilled and seasoned with cumin, oregano, and coriander. Finished with fresh lime and hand-chopped cilantro. Carne asada. This is our best steak ever.
Geico makes car insurance easy.
Enjoy your flight. You too.
As easy as saying the wrong thing.
Me too. Really?
What?
Dad, why would you say that?
Why would you say that? Do I look like I'm going on vacation, sir?
It's not how airports work, man.
You could?
Dad!
Are we leaving or?
I don't even want to go on vacation anymore.
I thought I knew you.
She has hairspray that is over the limit.
With an app that puts your policy in your pocket, it's easy to Geico.
And you're not wearing socks. Get a grip, man.
This is a cluster that happens when marketers group all their customers together. MailChimp uses real-time behavior data, so you can personalize email for every customer. Turn customers into customers with Intuit MailChimp.
Flex left, flex right, and double flex. Find your inner flex with Duluth Double Flex Ballroom Denim. Only at Duluth Trading.
Start Saturday strong with Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel in Oklahoma face off against Big 12 newcomer Cincinnati. Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
Columbus, Ohio. Fall is looming. That means Big Ten play is looming. And autumn becomes winter very quickly when Ohio State and Michigan is at the end of the schedule. And then they hope again the college football playoff. You'll have Ohio State and Michigan again here on Fox. And Brutus hopes to be nodding his head quite a bit when the Buckeyes and Wolverines get together once more after a 1-2 record in 3 games under Ryan Day. As that run for Williams gets him about 7. Since 2017, when Ryan Day got here as the offensive coordinator, in fact, this is 49 games of 500 plus. They are just about 70 yards away from 600 today.
Yeah, and all you got to do is look at the 50 Buckeyes in the NFL to realize there's offense and defense, but there's offensive linemen, there's quarterbacks, there's running backs, there's wide receivers, there's tight ends, there's every one of them that you have developed. And yeah, this is a nightmare for defensive coordinators to prepare for.
They use the short side quite a bit in the run game, Brock. We've seen that a bunch today.
Yeah, outside, right? And you're right. It's been some of the throw game to the field and then really getting after some of the perimeter, some of that stretch, either via toss or stretch into the boundary. And this was the danger. And this is what Ryan Day wanted. To go wear these guys down. I mean, they're giving up a lot of size. They play 2 defensive linemen typically on the field. He wanted to see his guys get after at the line of scrimmage. Mission accomplished.
Brown wheeling out of the pocket, kept his feet, didn't go down. Brown rolling, fakes a throw, and he'll just take it out of bounds. Next week starts Saturday strong. Big Noon Saturday. It is Cincinnati's first Big 12 game. They'll take on the Oklahoma Sooners, who drilled Tulsa today. It's a conference showdown. Get it all started with Big Noon kickoff, 10 a.m. Eastern. Then the Sooners and the Bearcats. you know what? I am ready for conference play in earnest. We're going to be out in Salt Lake City for UCLA and Utah, which will be a great game as well. But, man, Big 12, Cincinnati, Scott Satterfield's got them undefeated so far. They play in the MAC. And Miami, Ohio, coming up in a little while today. Brent Venables in year 2 looks like he's got a dangerous Oklahoma side in the farewell tour in the Big 12.
And I am sure he has learned some hard lessons last year that only come with experience. A lot of humble pie there in Norman, Oklahoma, but you're right, man. They look like the team people expect them to be a season ago.
I mentioned the farewell tour. Texas actually has had shirts made for some of their staff members listing the schedule on the back of the shirt like it's a concert tour as they say farewell to the Big 12 going to the SEC next year.
Second charged. Team timeout of the half. Western Kentucky.
7 minutes to go. Timeout Western Kentucky. Brown and Ohio State are driving.
There's DNA. Then there's heavy-duty DNA. HDNA. It's what every GMC Sierra HD driver is born with, and it's engineered into every aspect of the GMC Sierra HD with the pulling power to prove it. The new 2024 GMC Sierra HD. Tow hitches of the world. Prepare for glory.
I'm all about fall, especially this new pumpkin spice frosty.
After it.
So I'm taking some me time out here.
Question for you. So, fries are a utensil, right?
Good question.
Okay. It is a good question. Can you give us an answer?
Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new pumpkin spice frosty or cold brew.
Your paint is really bad. What? I said best coffee I've ever had. Should have used Bear. Sorry, side where? No, I said should have used Bear.
Today, let's paint. Right now, get America's most trusted paint brand at a new low price. Bear, only at the Home Depot.
This is the hotel breakfast.
It looked different online.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. Hi, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving.
When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get 'em.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Need to hit the road if we're going to beat the traffic.
All right. What?
Maybe we'll just beat the traffic tomorrow?
Wasn't it?
You're never responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card.
All right, guys, listen up. This entire season boils down to one word.
Bundle home and auto.
But that's 4 words.
Not if you bundle them.
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Bear Paint and by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I'm sure a lot of people watching this game, whether in stadium or otherwise, have a great foyer as you walk in the door of their home. I don't know if I've ever seen a more opulent, trophy-driven. You walk in the door and you're just filled with trophies.
Yeah, and it's cool to see fans come in and just see them take it all in. And these fans, I think, are a lot like you, Jason. They're ready for the meat of the schedule.
Yeah, here we go, right? At Notre Dame, Sam Hartman, 330, 3 touchdowns and a rush in their win over Central Michigan earlier today. What does this season look like for Ohio State? That's what everybody's wondering. We got some answers today about the offensive line. The defense created 3 takeaways. Ohio State by 46. But after this play, I want to ask you about the road ahead for Ohio State. I call that a tease in television. Brown to throw, and it is tipped, and it's actually intercepted. Picked off by Wheeler.
And this is when a tease goes bad in television because Mr. Wheeler, for the second time today, makes a big play. He was a big part of the forced fumble on that sack fumble in the first quarter, and that time a little volleyball between the two big men from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Wheeler's able to come down with it.
He ends up at Western Kentucky all the way from the Sacramento area. Elk Grove, California, Sacramento City College. A lot of transfers on this team. Here's a guy that's been in this program